There's a massive multicolored wall somewhere. Where did we see that? Take a look. I mean, we do have this thing here, which we took note of earlier. The alchemical conduit. No idea what's going on there. Let's take a look. I'm interested. I'm definitely intrigued by the angry fruit salad. I'm not seeing it at the moment. Oh, do you know what I realized? We're talking about this up here, aren't we? Give me a moment to just get enraged, murder my way through some of these sons of guns. Are we talking about this? Makes so much sense in retrospect. But no, this is not a naturally occurring phenomenon here in Snake. That was because we ran into Magicka, our chaotic abyssal friendly unique, or not so friendly unique is a more accurate representation, and that's their corrupt mechanic. Having just the absolute field day upstairs, especially since we tried to fight them on multiple different occasions and had to bear witness to a few different corruptions taking place. But there we go. That makes a lot more sense. I was worried that I was losing my mind. I'm always very quick to assume, mostly, or most of the time rightfully so, that I'm the problem. And that I will almost always be missing something painfully obvious to all of you observers. But glad we got to the bottom of that, and now hopefully the rest of our time here in Snake isn't too fruitless of an endeavor. Definitely a little bit sketchy, especially if I keep attacking things in melee combat like that, but it is what it is, and if it works, it works. I've only had one near-death experience, which in my books is a pretty huge improvement over our regular activity. Okay, if I could get my armor to just head out there, please and thank you, sir. Man, that's a lot of damage, even with 3 pips of fire resistance. A pyroclastic surge still hits you like a mother trucker, hey? Well, I'll blast this. I think, again, our armor is probably slightly better suited, or at least I was assuming our armor would be better suited for the electricity resistance there, but I guess not. Okie dokie, my friend. What do we do with you? I could start channeling magic. That at least opens the way to blinking here. The constrict also doing its job. Fantastic. I shouldn't swing my weapon. I have some temptation to do so. But I need to be fully aware that going rage mode in that context would have potentially spelled an unfortunate demise. So glad we got through in one piece without worrying about that. Sure, you also ran into him today in Snake. Azul, Nicola, and Asterion all around the Snake 1 entrance. Hey, we're twinsies then, because, I mean, mine weren't all around the Snake 1 entrance. I have a lot of sympathy for you there, but we have seen the exact same cast of characters in our Snake here today. Azul, Nicola, Asterion, Magicka, and I think we got Vajnia as well. So it's definitely, I don't know, there's some kind of magic in the air, maybe some kind of convention going on, bringing all those Kidlywinks into the fray. Here, okie dokie, reach out and grab ya. Man, you're a problem. Ooh, you're doubly a problem. Well, I guess we're using our rage to its full extent here. I changed my mind. We are not doing anything of such nature. We're just gonna slowly walk away, try to make sure that I don't accidentally allowed too many events to occur while we're slowed like that. That's fine. Got Vaginion 4. Hey, there we go. That had completed the ritual. We got the exact same cast of colorful characters to say hello for us here. Well, hopefully you're able to get through them as we were here, and hopefully that's a sign that maybe we've run into all of the uniques that we'll find here in Snake. We have a nice, easy, you know, slow jaunt, lovely skipping walk to victory. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Just would love to see it. But let us continue to just drag these Sons of Guns over to our one kind of safe zone. So it allows us to be a bit more comfortable with using all of the tools at our disposal, specifically our melee attacks. So that is fantastic. Reach out and grab you, my friend. And we've got to be getting close to working through most of these Sons of Guns, right? Hello? How many more pyroclastic surges can one man be expected to come across, eh? Yes, we don't really need flight. It does waste a bit of time to swap over to flight in the case of being surrounded by lava like that, but still probably don't have to worry too much about it one way or another. There we go. We hit our caps on fighting and spell casting again here. So where do we go next? I don't think we need more invocations. I wasn't paying much attention when I opened my ability screen last, but I'm pretty sure Divine Exegesis was looking mighty castable and not too much of an issue one way or another. And so we probably just keep heading into spells. I'll maybe take a bit of a tangent here, a side trip, delving into armor. That'll help with our spellcasting rates and with our overall defensive capabilities here, so that doesn't seem too shabby. And otherwise, we'll just keeping on. Bit of rage, not an issue. Okie dokie. Again, we're whittling away at what appears to be the final vault area, so hopefully by the time we actually get our boots on the ground, there's not too much more for us to deal with. I also want to double check, so in terms of our training here, a bit of summoning could make animate armor safe. It's not really necessary. A summoning spell anywhere below 10% is probably more than good enough, since you're generally casting it once every like 10 turns mid-combat. But training to make irradiate work a bit better for us. Could definitely be on the menu. Is there anything else kind of calling our name here? Of course, any of this higher level stuff, we will need to train a bit more spellcasting. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, you know, I'm not seeing a whole lot that kind of jumps out at me as necessary. Curious if there are some kind of sleepers like Takima's Dance. Never casted. It animates an enemy's weapon. This feels like something that could be very handy to have. The ability to disarm certain enemies doesn't sound bad to me for sure. Of course, I don't know if that's a willpower check, and if it is, then it's unlikely to really operate at any time when we desperately need it most. Excuse me. Holy moly. Don't know what it is about streaming that for whatever reason really triggers the yawns from my end. But okie dokie. Hello, friend. Come one, come all. Hello, hello. And what else have we got to deal with here? Okay, it's a pretty good sign when a Guardian Serpent blink surrounds you and only one enemy comes into the mix. So maybe that is an indication that we did actually clear out all of you. Holy moly. Not too bad. There we go. Second rune under our belt here. Can finally swap back to our Bardiche. It's been too long, my friend, too long. We're not at min delay, but we're at 1 attack per turn. You know, that's something we could actually put on, and we'll just train it along in the background. It can kind of join us for the ride along. Otherwise, maybe a bit of conjurations, a bit more alchemy. Try to bring the irradiate to a bit more useful failure rate there. And we'll see how that goes, shall we? Not too bad. Okie dokie. Well, one final floor of the dungeon left to explore and experiment in. Hello, my friends. Welcome, welcome. You know what? Let's take you upstairs. There's no real reason for us to get too bold or brash here, and let's instead just try to focus on some level of survivability. To put it plainly, to put it simply, but reach out and grab all of you. Reach out and grab you as well, my friends. Fantastic. It's nice being back to using a polearm as well. We're a bit more free. Let's slash away to our heart's content. What are you, my friend? A Sphinx skeleton? Not an issue. Not a problem. I probably should just go up and rest. One bad large rock to the face wouldn't have killed us, but it would have at the very least made me feel exceptionally uncomfortable with our contained survival. So maybe could have thrown something into the mix to account for that, but hey, why bother when everything is going so wonderfully, so beautifully for us here? Ain't no thing. Okie dokie, as these kids surround us, this is where we can definitely bring our other abilities into the mix. You also have a Trident of Distortion, which is not gonna fly with us here, my friend. Reach out and grab you? No? Or not? Yikes, yikes, yikes. And just trying our best to take care of that son of a gun before they have any opportunity to send us on an undesired, or maybe not even undesired, but more so just surprise trip to the abyss. Those one-way tickets aren't where the deals are at, you know? We want a round fair flight just to take full advantage of things. There we go. Do get rid of the distortion tridents. That is fantastic. And it is nice to be back into the mix, not quite so worried about constantly enraging at the worst possible moment. You love to see it. Instead, just taking full advantage of the absurd damage the plus 10 Bardiche supplies us with. Well, my friend, if you could come right this way, walk this way, talk this way. And oh, whoopsie daisies. Getting ourselves a little bit petrified in the process, but fortunately it wasn't until we were pretty much completely on the up and up from the encounter. Hello, another Catoplebis. Don't see that very often outside of Lair, my friends. But nothing we can't handle, of course, and not too shabby. Let's just burn through the rest of this zone for now, and then we're probably heading into vaults, if our usual game plan is any indication. And you know what? Let's drop some surprises for these kids along the way, shall we? A nice homage, an ode to all the previous 2 edit ogres that we fought. So if you don't recall, during the start of this run in the previous session, I feel like we came across a lot of out-of-depth 2-handed ogres, and Volatile Blastmotes was our be-all, end-all, our Lord and Savior through the most trialing of times, and on the flip side, what ended up being the most triumphant of times. Got to love, or you love to see it, I think is what I was kind of going for there before my brain absolutely fell apart mid-sentence. Okie dokie, well, off to vaults. We have cold resistance now from the gloves that we grabbed off of Nicola over in Snake. So that is fantastic. And should leave us a little bit more competent and comfortable against what we may or may not come across. Here, if I could split you kiddos into smaller groups, that would be wonderful. Fantastic. And let's just back off through here so that we're not dealing with too many attacks at once. Definitely took a bit more damage than I was comfortable with, but not the end of the world by any means. Especially if we're able to close the gap with the Aktars, then they're not dealing quite as much damage. This is the one big downside to the fact that we found these like wonderful artifacts so early. Both of them are two-handed, and I'm normally a big shield guy, but you know, when given a two-handed lemon, by God, you make two-handed lemonade. So I thought we'd give it a try, but all that is just to say that it means the reflection brand that we have on our amulet just isn't quite packing the punch that it otherwise could. But not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination here. As long as we're again able to kind of close the gap and play at things on the safe side, then we should be fine and dandy, regardless of our shielding and or lack thereof. Ooh, hello my friends. Speaking of my ranged compatriots, come one, come all. Fine, I'll just close this door and we can duke it out the old-fashioned way. Fantastic. Okay, so far it's looking like vaults will also be pretty much our speed here. Not too shabby whatsoever. And if I can keep kind of juggling people at a distance here, that would be ideal. Holy crap, our armor did manage to get another punch in before the end of days there. Nice job, buddy. Great work out there. Let's summon it again. And in fact, let's take a peek at their stats. They have very low health, kind of offset by the heavy armor class, of course. But this is the big thing. 2 hits for 60 damage each. Oof. Holy moly. That's why we try to reach out and grab these sons of guns, get them constricted, and then our armor can kind of deliver the final effect of the 1-2 punch combo there. Does pretty solid work at the end of the day. But okie dokie, IMB is gonna be our lifesaver here, and just taking care of these sons of guns, making sure we don't get too overwhelmed. Though it's getting there. It's unfortunately a heck of a lot closer to just that than I would like. Well, that's not going to do it, so we can throw a warping out here. It should deal enough damage to kill the deep troll. It does. Fantastic. And then I had an undue amount of confidence swinging my weapon at the second buddy here. Let's instead drink a heal wounds, shall we? Did not heal me as much as I would like, but another option is we could turn into a tree. AC remains pretty much the same, but we gain a bit more max health if we do so. Probably not our best move. In fact, that works out a bit better here. Unfortunately, we blinked to the wrong side where we have to explore off into the unknown if we decide to run away. So maybe instead we can start channeling magic, and with that we can actually just blast this son of gun into next week. Okie dokie, not too shabby here whatsoever. Low Thunder Hulk, if you could chill, please. Please and thank you, I appreciate it. Much gratitude and thanks to you, my friend. And hopefully we're back into the general swing of things. It's good to note with that encounter that I mean, as we're generally all too aware, and maybe occasionally need another reminder for, we are not invulnerable or invincible by any means. So we should be a bit cognizant and careful of that as we continue to face off against all these sons of guns. But there we go. Doing spiders definitely get the just spam IMB treatment. I feel like that's one of the places where, even though IMB is pretty much always fantastic and beautiful and wonderful, and I love what it does for us, Spider is where you can really see it shine, because it deals such a large percentage of the hit points of any of the enemies that you come across down that way. So definitely slaps something fierce. Let's just reach out and grab you Kiddlywinks. Do not just rinse, repeat to our heart's content. In fact, if I can get a bit more of an efficient grab, don't mind if I do. I'm curious if we'll ever end up delving into some of the higher level magic. Specifically, just seeing this kind of formation of enemies makes me long for the days of ignition. Just imagine how much work we could do if we had ignition to throw at our problem here. Let's channel magic again, just to give us some level of safety and security. Definitely makes IMB just fully spammable. If you're channeling magic at the times, you'd love to see it. Otherwise, I guess blast mote's maybe not the smartest move I've ever endeavored to experiment with there, but gets the job done regardless at the end of the day. And isn't that all we can really hope for? Isn't that the dream? Reach out and grab you. Grab some armor while we're at it. In fact, if I could just reach out and grab you, my friend. If my armor survives for even a turn, its damage output is absurd. Fantastic work out there, kiddo. Keep up the hard work and perseverance. Fantastic. Holy moly, time has flown by. I guess in terms of actual progress, we're probably pretty much on our usual pace here. You know, we managed to go through one of our S branches and make our way through a bit of vaults within the hour and a half. But in terms of how it's felt in full, like, kind of mental time dilation mode here, for whatever reason. And, you know, I say for whatever reason, but I guess time flies when you're having fun. Hey? So you got to love it. But okie dokie. Not too shabby, all things considered. Looks like we'll have an okay time as we continue to make our way through vaults. Reach out and grab you, kiddos. In fact, this is where we can kind of use a mix of IMB, reaching out and grabbing you, swinging away with our main weapon as well, and it's all pretty good stuff. You shouldn't be able to kill me in one turn, so we will take the risk, swing for the fences, and it does pay off quite wonderfully. Fantastic. Let's maybe do a quick check-in on all the skills that we'd set up for ourselves. Pole arms, understandably slow, as it makes its way up towards 20 there. But armor and conjurations, also looking pretty solid. We're down to 7% failure rate on Irradiate, so that's something that we can throw into the mix a little bit more judicially now moving forward. Feel free to just take advantage fully of our hybrid caster status here. And so that, in its own right, is a nice little small victory. In fact, no time like the present to blast some sons of guns. Beautiful. And may I reach out and grab you, my friend. Make sure you don't have any opportunity to phone a friend and get some reinforcements heading your way. So that is wonderful. And then, yeah, we probably keep going through vaults a little bit here. There's some temptation on this character. You know, things are going smoothly. They're going well. So, like, could I just dump and jump directly into depths here? Potentially. But probably good practice to do, at the very least, some additional clearing of vaults. You know, get those skills up, get everything kind of firing on all cylinders here as soon as possible, or at the very least before we dive into the thick of things down below. Fantastic. And so we will keep that in mind for now and see, I guess, how things progress. We have very solid resistances. Oh my gosh, and a blinking scroll 100% makes this entire endeavor worth it. Every single near-death experience we found ourselves in recently, I've been scanning our inventory, desperately searching and hoping for a source of controlled blink. And so that is a lovely little addition to the team here. Speaking of additions to the team, go gadget armor. You could just jump in there, kiddo. Maybe get some damage going any day now. Convoker is doing their thing, and so that is my cue to back off here. No need to get too fancy with it. Let's just try to ensure some level of safety and security. You're annoying as hell, my birdie pal. There we go. Didn't have much opportunity to deal with them up until that point. So that gets the job done, and then we'll just probably very stupidly spam our movement here a bit faster than we should, and that will bring us out of harm's way.